Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. I'm Christine. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to a surprise video, or rather one on short notice. It is Monday. It's a Monday that I took off from work and I'm filming today because I asked on my community tab if you wanted to have a video about MONAT's first distributor not being with the company anymore. The very first person who ever joined MONAT is not with the company anymore, and 99% said, yeah, film it. This channel is not yet oversaturated with MONAT content. There's so much happening in MONAT at the moment. Every single day there are news, who is leaving now, who got terminated now. And this one really stood out to me because it's MONAT first distributor ever who joined the company who is now not with MONAT anymore. MONAT is turning into MONAT at the moment because ironically, MONAT is terminating people left and right. These are people who haven't left the company yet, but MONAT kicked them out, which is really interesting. The company who is currently tanking, that they're willing to terminate people as we speak. And the Clown Town called that Tony is not with MONAT anymore before it happened. In their video, MONAT's Downfall, a lawsuit and lies exposed. Deep dive.
Last thing that we're gonna talk about is the great mystery of Tony Van Schoik, okay? Somebody needs to get Sherlock Holmes on the case right now. He needs to put all the pieces together because our 4 brain cells have not been able to do it. We do think that she left. That's my gut feeling. That's our unofficial clown opinion, gut feeling type beat from the things that we're gonna show you. But we don't have official proof, and on her Facebook it still says Monet SED, aka Monet Senior Executive Director.
The Clown Town's channel and the video will be linked down below, so go ahead and check that out. It is a really interesting video. And yeah, she left. She's not with the company anymore. She didn't leave willingly, but she got terminated by MONAT. So last week, MONAT's first market partner got terminated, and more people are let go. I have another video I filmed on the weekend where a person goes through a very similar situation. It's not such a high-profile distributor, but it is the same scenario where a person got terminated in a day and age where MONAT needs to hold on to each and every market partner they can. So that is a very strange behavior. And now Tony Van Schoik was let go as well. At the end of last week, Tony uploaded a video to her Instagram where she shared her story that she is not with MONAT anymore, and a lot of people in the comment section said that is what happened to them as well. Among those also the market partners I reacted to who also get terminated. So she does mirror, or they do mirror, her story. And that is why I find this so interesting, because she's such a high-profile distributor in MONAT, and her story seems to be typical for people getting terminated left and right.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's been a minute since I've been on Instagram. We wanted to share something with you because we've had some challenges that we've had over the last couple of, actually year and a half. And so let me give you a little bit of a timeline. So what had happened is that back at the end of 2022, I was asking some tough questions. We had our leaders coming to us, trying to get answers on certain things, and we just never did. So, I still pursued it because we weren't getting the answers that we needed. So what had happened during this time is that I decided to, ask harder questions. And that was resulting in what has happened over the last 6 months of, for lack of a better word, they started building back in February a compliance file against us. And they were citing all of these things, but they weren't sending any examples. So I just kept my head down. I hired a litigator 6 weeks ago because it had gotten to the point where it escalated, and Jay and I felt that we had no choice but to hire legal counsel.
She is vague here what questions she has asked. Very likely she has to for legal reasons, but she claims that in 2022 she started to ask questions that were not answered by MONAT, and then she continued to ask more questions 6 months ago, and in February she realized that MONAT compliance had started to collect information on her and has opened a file. There are more and more allegations coming in from former distributors and also from Monat's former from Monat's former president Stuart McMillan, that Monat allegedly was involved in fraudulent business, trying to minimize company profit by transferring the profit to other companies they own, like the manufacturer of Monat products, changing the product's formula to save money and not being transparent about it, or at least not fully declaring that on the packaging, where they didn't list all of the ingredients on product labels. They allegedly also paid their distributors less. They were doing more and more flash sales, as we have seen every weekend. They pretty much had a flash sale while paying less commission to their distributors. So she is not precise what she exactly means here. It's a smart decision if she wants to pursue legal action, but maybe it is some of those topics that she addressed as well, because it did cause quite some stir within Monat, according to former distributors as well.
Okay, so be that as it may, one of the dogs got out. Be that as it may, we have had no other choice. And I'm going to read this statement that my attorney helped me write, but we had no other choice to do what we're doing right now. As a result of that, with me not complying, and again, you guys, these were false accusations. I asked them to provide me proof, and after the 8th email, they sent me some Instagram lives that I had done, reels that they wanted me to take down, and I said why. They couldn't give me a reason. So what I did is I got John involved, who is our attorney, John Roberts out of Santa Rosa in Florida. Got our attorney involved, and we wrote a formal letter, and he wrote it on my behalf because I'm not a lawyer. Wrote it on my behalf, and I sent it to Ray asking for my legal counsel to be present with their compliance team so we could figure this out, and we were denied. Okay?
Other former distributors have alleged the same thing, that they were suspended and then terminated, or right from the start that they were terminated because of an alleged breach of compliance of Monat's policies and procedures, but without proof that they did actually something wrong. I have filmed another video, like I said, about another distributor who pretty much mirrors Tony's story here, who was suspended for working with another MLM, which the distributor claims it wasn't true. She had a distributor's account because she wanted to save money on the products, but she never spoke about the product. She never spoke about the company. She never promoted the company. She never spoke about any of these things on her social media or in person to other people, but she got suspended from Monat compliance and was then forced to sign an agreement to never work with that other MLM together. And she said, no, I'm not doing that. And that is why she will be terminated in the next few days. This other distributor also claimed that there was no proof of wrongdoing from her end, just like Tony here alleges that yes, they sent me reels and I was supposed to take them down, but they couldn't tell me why. In this case, the other distributor said they didn't have anything. They couldn't tell me why they have to let me go. They didn't show me anything. They didn't show me any posts or any conversations or any recordings that I did something wrong. They still wanted me to sign an agreement that I would never partner with that other company ever again in the future, which she, of course, didn't do because she also wanted to leave Monat at some point. That was already quite obvious because it was a sinking ship. So it sounds like a very, very similar story. And she says she had one incident in the past where Monat compliance reached out to her, so she knows what the process looks like. She, on her Instagram at some point, alleged that Monat paid for her boobs. Yeah, and Monat said, you cannot do that. And then she changed the post. They sent her the post. They said what doesn't work. She changed it. And then everything was fine again. So that is how compliance in Monat typically works. Compliance had the screenshots of the wrongdoing of a distributor. Compliance reached out to the distributor. And compliance made the distributor change their post. And then things were resolved. So that is how you work in compliance. I'm a compliance expert in the media industry, not for MLMs, but you need to work with facts, and you need to work with the law, and you need to work with proof. That's how it goes. There's a wrongdoing, you have proof for it, and then you take action.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the official statement because now, as of yesterday, they have terminated us, okay? You guys, if this had not happened, just because of what has happened over the last few weeks, we were going to resign next week once my legal complaint was officially filed, which it has not been done yet. So it has gone to that, but it hasn't been, the clerk hasn't issued it yet. So
that is very, very concerning. That MONAT's first distributor, who is this cult-like creature and this praised individual in MONAT who holds a lot of worth and a lot of value because she was the first distributor and because she was able to build a big team over the course of 9.5 years, that she says, I got terminated, but also we wanted to leave. So it looks like things at MONAT are truly not good. Because why else would she leave with a big-ass team? And it seems to be happening a lot that in this case, she's the highest profile MONAT distributor that happened to speak about this. But MONAT seems to terminate its distributors before they have the ability to leave. Which is strange because you think with MONAT bleeding distributors that they want to hold on to as many as possible. I don't know if you have any theories. Please let me know. I have a suspicion, but I would also like to hear your thoughts about this, because it's strange behavior.
If the whole thing is that I love this industry. I love this industry. I've been in it for 30 years. I will be in it, and I will continue to do what I love. But I just want you to hear me out. Okay, so this is the statement that John and I wrote. As most of you know or have heard, there's been a schism atop the leadership of MONAT. I've heard from many of you asking for information about what is happening, whether there is to be a lawsuit, and what comes next in my future. I want to be very clear. I have chosen to be silent recently because it was in my best interest to do so. I'm breaking that silence because I believe you need to hear things from my perspective. Now, I'm greatly concerned about the direction of the company that you and I and us have helped to build. This is not a new sentiment, also not one that I share alone. And I know most of you have heard about what's going on and even read the complaint that has been filed by the former president, Stuart McMillan, against the company. While I'm not privy to all of the facts alleged in Stuart's complaint, I am privy enough to be gravely concerned about the allegations contained therein. I'm also gravely concerned about the method and the manner the company continues to use in its attempts to keep a very serious issue quiet. Stuart was brave to come forward, and all of his honesty will almost certainly be met with scorn and decision at the highest levels of MONAT. I want to make very clear that I do stand with him. Now, mind you, we are on Team Tony and we are on Team Truth because that's where it lies. The truth always comes to light. So I want to make that very clear. And I also want to make very clear, I had no idea what was going on, and I just want people to know that. So all of the conspiracy theories and the collusion, that's not happening. Okay.
Stuart McMillan, MONAT's former president, is not brave to stand up against MONAT and to speak the truth. He was contractually promised a profit share also after him leaving, and after he has left his first paycheck, he alleges that he did not receive the full amount, the proper payment, less than MONAT contractually owes him, because Ray Urdaneta, the CEO and co-owner or co-founder of MONAT, is transferring money from MONAT to other companies they own to make MONAT seem less profitable than it is, and as a result, Stuart doesn't get the full profit share that he is owed. Stuart is not brave that he speaks up. He wants more money because he thinks that MONAT owes him more money and isn't paying him the full amount he is owed. According to Stuart McMillan's lawsuit, I also have a video, I will link it up here, where I go through the highlights of that. And Savannah Marie also has a live stream where I think she goes through the entire thing. Go ahead and check that out as well. I will link it down below. Then you can take a look at all of these background informations. But Stuart McMillan is not brave. He thinks that MONAT owes him millions. He wants money. That's it. But he is spilling some interesting tea, or let's say he alleges a lot of things, like the ones I've mentioned in the beginning, why MONAT is operating not very ethically, and why they're limiting profit, which results in him not getting paid properly, and also the distributors.
To end, sorry you guys, I'm trying to read this because my computer is behind my phone. to end that, you may have heard that, yes, I am filing my own lawsuit. And so I've worked too hard to let this company pull the rug out from under my feet and imperil my livelihood and your income streams. We've built this company together, and I'm not willing to be intimidated by the behavior of the corporate and some of the other leaders at the top. I have engaged with John Roberts, and he is busy undertaking and getting all of the facts in order to represent me against what I perceive as a vicious attempt to separate me from a company that I have helped build. Okay, so the rules are no longer being applied, and we have all agreed and not paying commissions in line with the agreements that we all worked to agree to. I simply cannot stand idly by while the lives of those who have given their time, energy, and effort are separated without cause. Here's where the simplicity is, you guys. I want to hear from you. I'm tremendously disappointed in the manner that we've been treated, and I know that some of you feel the same. I want you to be able to reach out to me so that we can share our disappointments and I can learn more about how you've been mistreated in the same way as I have. I'm open to answering your questions to the best of my abilities, but only with facts, as long as my counsel continues to allow me to do so without harming my case. I invite each of you to reach out, share your story so that I can better understand how you are being treated. We are, for better or worse, in this fight together, and I would like your support as we move towards a fair and just resolution. You guys, it's been a joy to be here for the last 10 years.
Has it?
It's been my honor. Moving forward, I am very excited about what the future holds. This was very, very hard for us to do. It was not easy. It took us a year to get to this decision. And this hasn't been without a lot of tears. It hasn't been without a lot of angst, a lot of sleepless nights, and doing the best of what I could do for our team, because this is really what it's all about. But it's also about my family too. And the last thing is that my reputation, my name, our integrity will not be associated or tarnished by anyone. That is what I live for. There is no amount of money or paycheck that will ever be worth our name.
I do understand that she's disappointed and that she is sad because she feels let down by MONAT and also by other top distributors. I mean, I wonder why you're still shouting out MONAT and who is still supporting MONAT. I think you can connect the dots. People like Ann Fisher, who is also one of the first distributors, has in a video Julie Joe covered. I will also link that down below if you're interested in that, where she pretty much says that she stands by MONAT and by Ray and everything is just a misunderstanding. And Julie Stevens also said, no, MONAT is the best. So it looks like a lot of these people are not speaking out or actively still supporting MONAT in the hopes that the situation will be better there and that they will remain at the top of the company. And what she's doing is really smart. You can discuss the wording, I guess, but she's gathering information from other market partners and says, if you've been ill-treated, if you have opinions, reach out to me. I'm willing to share my information. I would like to get your information. And it's a smart move if she wants to take legal action to gather information and to be as best prepared as she can. And I don't know if I understood her correctly, but during that speech, didn't she also say that she signed an agreement that she would not be paid commission? Did I understand that correctly? That MONAT potentially said, we're doing not well, you won't get full commission, or you need to sign something? Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe she also means that she did not get paid the commission she is owed, and she wants feedback from other market partners. That part was honestly confusing to me. But let's also not forget that she is one of the top income earners in the company because she was the first distributor. She was able to make almost $15 million in commission over her 9.5 years in MONAT. She very likely has a lifestyle together with her family that she cannot finance without MONAT, and she might need to downsize. She has a big home, she has a big house with a big pool. All of these things need to be paid for, and all those fancy houses, fancy cars, fancy stuff, whatever it is, she needs to finance that. And of course, nobody wants to downsize. Let's not forget, this is somebody who was able to make almost $15 million in commission, and she also allegedly doesn't like to pay taxes. While I have empathy for her and for her situation, and I think you can also tell that on this live, she was sad. She was obviously very, very sad. Her voice was shaking. She must be very, very disappointed. I do understand that she feels betrayed by the company and also by other distributors, because she praised the company so much, the people in the company, the entire network marketing system, and now it's biting her in the booty, and she's kicked out. That must be hard, and she must feel betrayed. I understand that. But let's also not forget that she is still in a very, very privileged situation, and that she was also able to profit of hundreds of thousands of market partners who joined MONAT over the years, where most of them lost money. And she was at the very tippity top, and she very likely profited of every single person in MONAT.
So, with that being said, I just want to say I truly love you guys. I hope that you found that I am telling this to you as just truly being here for so many years, and we're just very, very grateful. The relationships that we have built are number one, and they will always continue to be number one. So with that being said, you are more than free to and welcome to reach out. Honey, did you have anything to add?
You know, like Tony said, the past couple of years, it's not just the past, literally years, the past couple of years, have not been easy.
Because MONAT and MLMs are cult-like institutions, and they're high-control groups where critical thinking is not appreciated. And they must have witnessed that themselves over the past 9.5 years, also on their team with other people who experienced the same thing, and now they're going through this. Those who ask critical questions in systems and in companies like this, like MONAT, they will be shunned or they will be ridiculed. And the reason is because the business model of network marketing, that is how MONAT operates, because this system, this business model could not survive, and it cannot withstand criticism from the inside. And that is why we see this us against them mentality that we also see here as well, whether it is the first distributor or any other distributor.
On anyone involved with the company. And we're grateful for all the relationships that we've made along the way. We're leaving with no hate. We have nothing but love for all of you, and
No, you're angry, you're mad, you're sad, and it's also okay. You're not leaving with love. You're angry because you got kicked out. Rightfully so.
the one thing I want you to keep in mind is over the next few days, there's going to be a lot of team meetings and a lot of posts and a lot of things about how to handle the fallout of them getting rid of us. Before you fall into the gossip and the innuendos and everything, consider who it's coming from, considering why it's being done, but most importantly, you know us. Consider us and consider the people that you know and love before you fall into that drama hole about what is about to happen, because over the next couple of weeks there's going to be a lot of things that come out. So you all know Tony's heart. You all know my heart, my family's heart, and we never wanted it to come to this. There was always a better solution, but that's not the way the company chose to go. Tony literally built the company. She was the very first market partner, and it's been a great 10 years. We've made $15 million in 10 years. That's not a bad return of investment.
Yeah, but you know what?
And we've made a lot of friends.
Yeah, it's really about the relationships, and that is the best gift that we could have gotten are the relationships. And also, I mean, he's always been a believer in Christ, but I was able to find my faith. I was able to, eminently grow as a person in more ways than I could ever imagine. So I'm just so grateful for that. And for us, the relationships are always going to be number one. And thank you guys for all of you that came on here to support us. I know that there is going to be a lot of fallout, a lot of upset, disgruntled people, but at the end of the day, It's really about doing what's best that we feel for us and for y'all. So,
And one other thing too that I'd like to address,
yeah.
we haven't gone to another company. We're not. That's gonna be one of the things that's said. We haven't gone anywhere. We're just here, keeping on trucking. But there was no agenda that we haven't left, and now we just tried to ride it out because we owed so many of you our best effort. And
Yeah.
that's literally how we've always felt. We've owed you our best effort because your success is our success and vice versa. And like I said, we never wanted to come to this, but y'all are going to be in our hearts, and we're praying for you too. I know that you all have been praying for us, but we're praying for you too.
All right, you guys, so enjoy your weekend. Happy Mother's Day to you, the mamas out there. Make sure you do something nice for yourself. And you know what? We just love you all. All right. Bye.
Bye.
I'm just going to ignore the faith manipulation, but it is very, very present here, very prominent. And also, I have a hard time to support that she built MONAT. She was the first market partner. That's it. And I mean, lots of people would like to be the first market partner in an MLM that then also blows up into one of the mainstream MLMs. But the ones who built MONAT were the hundreds of thousands of people who joined over the years and who spent a lot of money on the ridiculous products. I mean, I also have a hard time to believe that even though they're faith-based people, that relations are the most important thing. You wouldn't sue for relations. It's sad that they're missing, but they're missing out on income. They're missing out on money. They're missing out on money to finance their luxurious lifestyle. They were able to finance with $15 million, as he said, in commissions over their time in MONAT. That is also not profit, that is revenue, and that is also before taxes that she allegedly doesn't want to pay. And yeah, that's all before taxes and expenses. But I would say it is safe to assume that Tony Van Choik is actually one of the people in MONAT who is truly a millionaire. It's likely that she has assets worth millions to her name. So the Huns like to claim that. I'm in the MDC, I'm a millionaire. No, you're not. I'm interested to know what her and Stuart's religious pals are doing now, like Brittany Rose and Connie Sanchez, how they're doing, because Stuart McMillan has this lighthouse company, blah blah, where he's throwing conventions himself or certain events. And a lot of the market partners that are also faith-based, they were also a part of that and they were supporting him. It's going to be interesting to see what they are doing now. I can only assume that people like Krista Parney, Christina Smallwood, Ann Fisher, Julie Stevens, all of these people, they will be on MONAT's side. At least that is what they're currently doing, that they won't support her. Also in the fear that they will be terminated as well, because Christina Smallwood was on her Instagram pretty much pitching Arbonne. I also have a video about this. I will link it up here if you want to take a look. And my suspicion was that she was doing that to show to the other market partners, no, it's all good here. It's all safe. You can talk about other products and you won't get terminated. Very likely she's already aware that she is safe because she's speaking in favor of MONAT and she's doing all of the things they ask her to do. That's just my assumption, but it will be interesting to see what these people are doing, or the likes of Sarah Hill, who have already chosen the MONAT side in the hopes that MONAT is not going to fully drown within the next year or two. In addition to this live, what was also interesting were a lot of the comments on her Instagram. There are comments over comments over comments from distributors or former distributors who are also disappointed, to claim that the same thing happened to them. They also got terminated without compliance having any proof of them having done anything wrong. And there's one comment that is great. That's a great example because it does sum up the experience of what most people in Tony's comment section said. The fact that this is a year in the making of this decision should speak volumes to people. Everything we have all been feeling for the last 2 years. The drop in income, the flash sales where commission is 20 to 40 CV and barely pays for Starbucks on a new VIP enrollment. People have felt the impacts of the company's horrible business decisions. The fact that people are telling their teams nothing is wrong, or people getting terminated deserved it, is insane to me. There are a lot of calls where leaders are telling their people exactly that. The video that Julie Joe reacted to in a live from Ann Fisher is one of those examples where Julie Stevens also spoke about this, saying everything is fine, everything is perfect. The Kool-Aid has expired and people need to wake up. I agree, but it is hard to do that in a commercial cult. I've had far too many issues over the years with compliance telling me to take things down, but then I screenshot 10 to 15 top people doing the same thing, but they're not being told to do the same, and every time I pushed back, they left me alone. That is also something we have seen where top people just got a slap on the wrist, and that was it, because they bought other people's business out, because they wanted to be connected to the person that was recruited by somebody else because it was more beneficial to them, like Krista Parney. Allegedly, Jacqueline Goldrich has an entire pool of money available for those people on her team who need to hit ranks. And if they're not able to hit rank because they still lack personal volume or group volume, they take money from that pool that every distributor on their team at a certain stage pays into, and that way they spend the money on products or on an initiative to keep that person at that rank. All of these things didn't lead to these people being terminated because they're still in the company. And I understand why that is disappointing. That is why it is so important when you work in compliance that you're consistent and that you work with facts and not with favoritism. It's been happening for years, but now with the lawsuit, I think more people are seeing how bad it really is. It's not the same company we all joined in 2017. It's so far from it. It's actually still the same company. MONAT was a shit show in the beginning. It was just not as big. And then a lot of people joined, and then MONAT really blew up over the course of the pandemic. And then after the pandemic, that effect fell flat. And lots of people left. And the people who got used to making a lot of money, including MONAT Corporate, including Stuart McMillan, they had to take some more drastic measures. That's just what happens when people get greedy, in my opinion. Thank you for speaking up, and I hope people will see the light and stop drinking the Kool-Aid, because it's not going to benefit them when they terminate all reps overnight. It's good that people stop drinking the Kool-Aid, but unfortunately those people are drinking a new Kool-Aid now in a new multi-level marketing company, which operates in the same system. It's the same system. But it will be interesting to see what the fallout will be from her leaving and why MONAT is terminating people left and right. She said, or her husband said, that they don't have a new MLM, but I'm sure we will see them. Maybe after the lawsuit, they might need to be careful now, but I'm sure that they will show up at another MLM, and it will be interesting to see how this affects MONAT for sure. Outsiders like myself, who are not a part of MONAT, who are not drinking the Kool-Aid and never did, they also recognized that there was something going on with MONAT. It was quite obvious. I have a video on MONAT Reunion 2023, which is an incentive trip. It's like, we'll link it up here as well. I have so many videos I can refer to, which is glorious, but also worrisome, to be honest. I will link it up here, where I already speculated that a good amount of people who were definitely eligible for this incentive trip did not attend, and the entire event seemed smaller, lackluster. It wasn't in a big arena, but it looks like a lot of people were crammed together in smaller conference rooms in a hotel in Las Vegas. Didn't look as flashy, it didn't look as great, you didn't have this big arena effect that they typically go for. And then came MONATIONS 2023 in autumn of that year. That is MONAT's annual conference where everybody in MONAT can attend. They just need to buy a ticket and they need to be a MONAT market partner. And the ranks there were empty and not as many people attended. I also have a video about that one. I will also link it up here. Everything is also in a MONAT playlist if you're interested in all of those MONAT videos. It shows that something was going on over the course of last year, and the market partners are now admitting to that. I think it is a strange move that MONAT is actively terminating people, also top people within the company, when they need to hold on to each and every market partner they can. My suspicion is, and I once again would like to hear your theories about this, is that they think it is easier for them to terminate people who start to ask questions, people they cannot control anymore, kick those out, and then that team will roll up to somebody else, although if she's the first market partner, who will this then roll up to? I mean, we will see. This could be interesting. These people might, in some way, shape, or form, be connected to other uplines now who are still loyal to MONAT, like the Krista Parneys, very likely the Britty Roses, the Christina Smallwoods, the Sarah Hills, and all of these people, very likely also Jacqueline Goldrich, and that they might have more control over those people and have the ability to keep them in the company for longer, rather than a top distributor leaving willingly before they can get terminated, which might give them more credibility, and then their team might very likely leave with them to a new MLM. That is my personal suspicion. That is what I believe is happening here, and it just shows how desperate MONAT is if they start to terminate people without allegedly any proof. Because if you run a business like this, then you're in for another class action lawsuit. In this case, I would say not just from top people like her, who've been able to make 15 million over the course of her time in MONAT, but also from the people who didn't make as much, but in a class action lawsuit, they might be successful, and that might also be financially a smart decision. So we will see. This saga doesn't end. And MONAT terminating people more and more each and every day is really messing up my filming and my uploading schedule. I have 2 videos ready, filmed, scheduled, uploaded, and I now need to push them out. And I'm going to edit this video today so that I can upload it for you tomorrow. So MONAT is really messing up my free time as well, because today is Monday and today is a day off. I have PTO in a company that is a corporate job, a 9 to 5, where I sit in this mythical, very non-existent cubicle, and the company pays me today. I don't work diddly squat today for my regular job, but they still pay me the full amount. Can you imagine? Yeah. But I'm filming MONAT videos today. So MONAT, stop it. Every time there's a new update, I'm like, I need to do something. But I hope that things will simmer down now. I will try to not overwhelm everybody and myself with a lot of MONAT videos. I have another MONAT video coming up about somebody else who got terminated, which might be rather interesting because it's a very similar story to this person. I would like to know your thoughts about MONAT terminating Tony Van Schoik, MONAT's first market partner, who, let's not forget this, lives a lavish lifestyle because she was able to profit off of hundreds of thousands of people who joined MONAT over the past 9.5 years. She's made a lot of money. She is one of the lucky ones. And yeah, now she got kicked out of the cult, and this is the fallout. If you like these types of videos, then please subscribe. If you liked this one, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to let me know something, or if you would like to share your theories, feel free to do that in the comment section down below. And if you like these types of videos, then hopefully I will see you in my next one. Until then, cheers!